Welcome back. This is the morning show on Love FM and Love Television on a Friday morning. And aren't we just happy it's Friday? Why? Do you do your the people whom you train? Do you have classes on Friday?
Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Right. That's the last session. Friday morning, 5:30 to 6:30 a.m.
And then they're off the hook again until Monday.
Until Monday.
Oh,
Monday
good.
morning, early.
Good.
5:30 to 6:30.
Morning, Ed.
Good morning.
Good to have you in. Where are we going this morning?
Well, as usual, we want to address some things that are very relative to our audience. You know, namely the Belizean diet. Right. I've been getting questions about protein. Number one, about sources of protein, and number two, about how much protein do we need, as you know. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. So let's first talk about sources, because we have some misconception here. Okay, so when people think about protein, the first thing they think about is meat, right?
Yeah.
Chicken, beef, and fish. But chicken and beef, for example, are not as good a protein source as we think. 21% protein, chicken and beef. It's only 20. It's no. The vegetable sources, vegetable protein sources, things like spinach,
Kalalu.
what else? Kalalu.
Cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
Kale would be a good one.
Kale, cauliflower, what else? Broccoli. These have 43%. So they are like double the amount of protein, you know. And then of course things like beans. Beans is a high protein source as well as fiber, and it has both the soluble and the insoluble fiber, right? So, you know, but these are the sources. Now, out of the meat, I think that beef has gotten a bad rap.
Definitely.
Red meat, right? But there is a reason for that. The reason being that when in the States, you've got three grades of beef. You have the GMO beef, genetically modified beef, and then you have the grain-fed, and then you have the grass-fed. Well, you're going to pay about twice as much, if not 3 times as much, for grass-fed beef in the U.S., right? Of course, the GMO beef is, it's cheap, but here in Belize, we only have one. That's grass-fed. So we're doing good. I mean, our beef is, I think, so. You see, meats are secondary food. The primary will be the ones that come directly from Mother Nature. So when we're looking at secondary food, the thing we need to do is to look at what that animal eats, because secondary food is when an animal eats. And we eat the animal, the flesh, right? So we want to look at what the animal eats. Now when you look at the cow is a strict vegetarian. Cow will not eat anything else.
No.
Right now, chicken, we can't say that about
Yeah,
chicken.
they eat the cockroach and all. True?
No, they chase them, they don't go through.
Right?
Yeah.
I make one cockroach run across the place, take off.
Oh boy, I could move right along.
But cockroach supposed to have protein?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes, got protein.
Of course. Anyway, let's talk about how much protein is needed. The average person, according to research, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, needs about 0.38 grams of protein per pound of weight.
0.38 grams.
So for every pound of body weight, you should be consuming about, I would say about like about 30-40%, protein. Now the thing about protein is you feel fuller when you consume, feel fuller longer. You feel more satisfied longer. The Belizean diet consists mostly of simple carbs, right? A lot of that. I mean, rice, white rice, bread, you know,
Beans.
potatoes, and these, you know, they tend to go through your system a bit quicker than, you know, than if you have a good protein meal. So, you know, I strongly recommend in my coaching, you know, that you build your meals around protein if you want to lose weight, because you know, I mean, most people are asking this question: how to lose weight, how to burn fat, right? So you want to build your meals around protein. Now, what are the factors that alters your protein need? One, if you're doing strength training, you're going to need more protein.
Build
You're going to
muscle.
need like about, you know, almost twice as much. Yeah, twice as 0.77 grams per pound of body weight, right? If you're doing endurance training, again, you need, you know, up to 82.82 grams of protein per pound. Now, endurance training is, you know, people that are training for marathons, long distance. The average person that starts doing things like jogging or aerobics, these are long, drawn-out exercises, and they're what we call slow-state cardio. And you tend to lose muscle and gain fat because the body will store fat for the activity if you make it a habit to do that. So, so obviously then, if you don't want to be losing, you know.
So you should put some resistance training in there, so at least once a week or something.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. When I was, I started to run the marathon when I turned 50. It was a kind of midlife crisis for me. I wanted to do something different, right? Never ran no marathons in my life. And when I started to train, I hit a wall at 15 miles. I just couldn't get through that. And so I sit down with the coach, and he said, well, Ed, what you need to do is go in the gym and train. You do some weight training, as heavy as you can. And I did it. Just like he said, and the next weekend when I went out to do a long run, I ran right through 15. I didn't even know it, right? But you're right about that. You know, it's important to add some resistance training in there. That and that helps you to build back the muscle loss, right? Because if you notice, if you look at the long distance runners, they tend to be kind of
Skinny.
jiggly. You know, it's a different build. It's something that I noticed with myself, and it made me stop doing that. I ran 5 LA marathons, and one day I was passing a mirror and I had to back up and look. I said, well, that's me. I don't like that look. No more marathons for me. Anyway, the other, so we talk about endurance training, and the other thing that alters the protein need is age.
I was going to ask you about that, age.
If we're over 60, we require extra protein, you know, to help
Build a muscle.
maintain
it, just for maintenance,
right.
because you're losing it.
Exactly. So you have to compensate for that, right? Now, if you're over 60, you're going to need about 0.68 grams per pound of weight, of body weight. So, you know, you can calculate your requirement totally. But just bear in mind that the older you get, the more important it is to build muscle, because you're losing it.
You they call what? Atrophy?
Muscular
Yeah,
atrophy. This is the aging process,
Yes.
right? So then this underscores the importance of weight training, right? And let's use resistance training. I like your term better, because when we say weight training, people
they think about lift
heavyweight
barbell
training,
and
right? You don't have to be barbells. They could be you know, your body
Kettlebells,
weight.
dumbbells, just a pair of
Right.
dumbbells you need. Rubber,
Exactly.
the bands. I don't know if
Exactly.
they use that in Belize, you know, the
some
bands.
people- But that's resistance, see? And that's what the muscle will respond to.
Yeah.
Right? So when we're doing this now, here is the need for protein supplementation, because most people, when they're in the gym working out, they say, I'm building muscles. But I always say to them, you're not
Breaking
building
down
anything,
muscle.
you're breaking it down. The building takes place when when your body puts you to sleep, then it builds, rebuilds, and repairs. So one more thing that I want to address is the carbs. And what we can do as a population to start the fat loss process. There is a reading that's very important. Your daily caloric intake or limit. People use different terms. Daily caloric intake or limit. Daily caloric intake means how many calories you need to take in to maintain your weight, right? At where it is. But majority of people want to lose weight. So in order to lose weight, we have to be in caloric deficit. So now, to lose about a pound a week, you want to be 500, in deficit 500. So you want to take your daily caloric intake or your caloric limit and subtract 500 calories from that. And then you make that your limit in terms of the amount of calories you're taking in. So, this means you have to be counting calories. If you want to lose about 2 pounds a week steadily, then take away 1,000 from your daily caloric. This daily caloric intake or limit is part of the readout that we give whenever I do a body diagnostic, right? A baseline body diagnostic or a progress tracker. We have several things that we look at: the body mass, the body fat, body water, bone mass. These are important masses that we need to track. And then there is things like our metabolic age, or daily caloric intake. And then there's one more, which is the amount of calories your body burn at rest, right? Doing nothing, right? These are all read out when we do a body diagnostic. But really important is to watch the calories. And of course, that's not everything, right? Because weight management has become a little bit more complicated today. It's not as simple. So we have to take into consideration also things like hormones. We have 2 fat storing hormones versus 6 fat burning hormones. The 2 are insulin and cortisone. These 2 hormones, when they're circulating in your bloodstream, they tell your body, they command your body to store fat. Cortisone, of course, is the stress, the hormone produced by stress.
Produced by stress.
And insulin is when sugar hits the blood. Now, this is another problem that we have as Belizeans. We consume way too much sugar.
Incredibly too much sugar.
Yes. And whenever this, so then...
Ed, put it down in basics. How much sugar you should healthily take every day as compared to what we are consuming?
Well, let's talk about, first of all, what kind of sugar we should be consuming. The one that Mother Nature gives us. This processed stuff is,
that's worse actually.
And what I'm talking about is what we call nature's candy, fruits. Natural fruit sugar, fructose. Our body can handle it, right? But it is the presence of refined sugar in our system that throws everything out of whack. Because refined sugar is like it gives you a rush, and then there's no.
Then you have a fall.
And then when you fall, then you end up with cravings.
Yes.
Because you want more, right? And it alters your taste buds, right? Because then, if you notice, when fruit doesn't taste that sweet anymore, if you're consuming another refined sugar, because refined sugar is super sweet now, right? And but if you should stay off that refined sugar for 21 days,
you'll see a difference.
This is what I strongly recommend that anybody does that wants to, burn fat, lose some weight. Just go on a 21-day no sweets diet.
But you know what the challenge is, right? Sugar is hidden in a lot of the processed foods that we eat.
So then you have to avoid the processed foods.
That's right.
Because you know how many code names they have for sugar? I mean, all kind, and it's hidden,
Yeah.
right? Because it addicts us. It's addicting, right? But the simple carbs, that's where we trip and fall. And we want to, our lifestyle is key in terms of things, simple things like our habits, our eating habits. Not so, I mean, of course, what you eat is important, but also very important is how you eat. I mean, and I mean specifically how often. Because hunger is a signal to your body to store fat. Another one is thirst. When you get thirsty, damage is already done, right? Your body goes into state of emergency, just like when insulin spikes. Same thing, sugar hits the blood, or hunger, or thirst. The body goes into emergency survival mode, and it will lock down the body fat so you won't have no access to it.
Yeah.
And then it will try to store more. So this is the reason why, you know, I mean, and in these instances, even if you are below your caloric limit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it still doesn't matter. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it still remains.
So we have to get these things in together, in alignment. And if we do, I mean, weight loss is not, it's not that difficult, right?
But you see, that's the point, Ed. After you've said all these scientific ways to handle this weight, some will tell you there's a simple way to do this. You know, you stop, you just, what if you're weighing something today and you're eating so much rice, so much meat, so much chicken every day, what you do, cut it in half. Just cut it.
Cut back.
Obviously, your body will react to that. So, and you
Absolutely.
start to see results, you know.
But this is the thing that you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
When you cut calories drastically, your body will react to that, right? It will go into emergency survival
Yes,
mode.
but you see a result, and then you work from that result instead of say, okay, how much calories I eat now, how much protein? Because a question I have for you, you talk about protein. Okay, and I'm going to do some resistance. When do I eat the protein? Before I go to exercise, after exercise,
After.
in the morning,
Evening.
right? Because
Evening.
because your body rebuilds.
Right.
You know, it's no use
You
having all
need-
the protein
you need-
in the morning.
Nope.
And then you know
You need
because
to
you
give
burn
your
it.
body the protein in a timely manner, just when it needs it. And when it needs it is
After you've
by the
broken
time-
down the muscle.
By the time you finish workout, you take a protein shake, and you of course you still want to be consuming protein in your meals.
That's right.
Right? But I'm talking
gonna
about
ask you about the
supplementing.
yeah, supplementing.
Supplementing protein needs to be done in the evening after workout, so that by the time your body puts you to sleep and goes to work,
Use
that
the protein.
protein has already been digested and is ready for your
Right.
body to use.
That's a good.
Right?
That's a point we should point
Very
out.
important.
But at the same time, try to go to bed not with not with a full stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to. Your last meal should be 2 to 3 hours,
before you go to bed. That's right.
And you know, that is very critical.
Yeah.
You know?
We've got to wrap this up for this morning, just like that.
Yeah. Yesterday they bring me some crepes, no?
Yeah.
They were delicious as usual,
Oh,
but
wow,
you know, nice and
it,
sweet.
But it was filled with a lot of sugar, a lot of sweet. No, you
Get
had
you
some fruit
wired
in there
up.
too, because
yes,
you had bananas.
had bananas in
That's
it.
that will get you wired.
It did
Bouncing
too.
off the walls.
It was good though. So, any last words of wisdom as people get ready to go into this celebration
this is
weekend?
key.
Lots
This
of
is key.
eating, lots of alcohol
Not only-
consumption.
How many calories and cholesterol in a hudut?
Good question.
But I'm
what
gonna
is
eat it, I'm
actually,
sorry.
what's the main ingredients? Is plantain, right?
Plantain.
Yeah, plantain.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Plantains are good.
And they use a lot of plantain, coconut. They use in this.
Plantain
this,
has
you
a
know,
lot of
cassava,
micronutrients.
cassava.
Fish.
Yeah,
Fish.
it's good food. That's what we call it. Aita.
That's right.
Right.
So people could feel comfortable to have
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And
But
then
as
coming up-
usual, no gorge yourself.
Right.
That's the point. Eat in moderation. That's the problem, you know. It's so good. Instead I eat 3-4
But when
tortilla,
see,
you eat
this is not
15.
The problem. The problem is people wait until they're hungry
hungry
to
to
eat. This is the key, right? We should eat because it's time, and you should eat, you know, in a timely manner throughout the
Snacky,
day.
snack, healthy snacks.
Right. So, because hunger actually puts you out of control. And that's why, and if the food is good,
Yes, yeah, tell me about it.
just dig
Look,
in.
yeah.
you're hungry,
Yeah.
plus the food is good, that's two,
That's temptation, you know.
you're going to overeat.
Yeah.
No two ways about that. I don't care how disciplined you are. Even me, that's why I manage my hunger, because I know if I get really, really hungry, I'm not only going to overeat, but I'm going to eat whatever is available.
And it stretches
Good
stomach
for
on
you or
top.
not. You're
Right.
going to be eating it.
Exactly. Right?
Ed, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
We've got to go. We'll see you again next Friday.
All right.
We'll take the break. We'll be back.